Bill Gates once made the observation, for a lot of folks, we tend to overestimate the rate of change that is going to occur on a 2-year basis. We really underestimate the rate of change that's going to occur on a 10-year basis. And I can tell you in 10 years, the world of healthcare is going to look nothing like what it looks like today. I spoke in Washington a few years ago as the World Healthcare Innovation Congress. A whole bunch of senior executives from hospitals, technology companies, politicians, all talking about future healthcare trends. I was the closing speaker. And I went out on stage and I said, here's how I want to talk to you. I want to pretend that it's January 15th, 2020. It's 10 years from the date of this conference. And I'm walking in as a patient. And I'm going to tell you what the world of healthcare looks like in the year 2020. Do you know what the most staggering change is that's going to unfold in the world of healthcare? And it's happening around us right now. Essentially, we are transitioning from a system in which we fix people after they're sick to a system in which we will know what it is that people are likely to become sick with, and we're going to re-architect the entire delivery of healthcare around that reality. It's called personalized medicine. It's called genomic medicine, DNA-based medicine. Essentially, we can take a couple of hundred strands of your DNA, and we can determine with a high degree of accuracy what healthcare conditions you are likely to develop throughout your lifetime. This is a staggering, huge, transformative trend. Because when we wake up 10 to 15 years from now and we look at the US healthcare system, it will have gone upside down. It will have transitioned from the system in which we fix you after you're sick to a system in which we know what it is you're going to develop, and we begin alternative forms of action at that point in time. And at some point in time as a trustee, at some point in time, you will be sitting in a meeting with a healthcare provider group, and they're going to be talking about this, and you're going to remember, yeah, I heard about that in New Orleans, and I understand that is going to help us better manage the costs because it's easier to treat people in advance than it is after the fact. Here's why the trend is going to pick up speed. Some of you might be familiar with something called Moore's Law. It's the law of Silicon Valley. The processing power of a computer chip doubles every year and the cost reduces by half. And that's why personal computers keep on getting more powerful, smartphones keep getting more powerful, and the cost keeps on decreasing. And what's happening in this world of DNA-based medicine right now is the cost to develop the machines that do what we call the gene sequencing, that look at your DNA to determine what it is you're likely to develop. The cost is collapsing because Silicon Valley is now involved. In the not too distant future, it's quite likely a lot of us will have at our homes our own little DNA sequencers. You go to your doctor's office, they're going to have their own little machine to run these tests. You can already go online today, and for a fee of $99, you can submit a little swath of your saliva and send it into an organization who will run a genetic profile and come back to you and say, these are the diseases and conditions that you're likely to develop throughout your lifetime. Think about what happens in a world in which all of a sudden we're shifting the entire focus of healthcare from fixing you after the fact to preventing issues in front. And it's not just with genomic medicine, it's with all medicines. I do a lot of healthcare conferences. I speak at a lot of healthcare events. And there is a growing realization that if we can get into a situation in which we're identifying conditions far earlier, we can reduce the cost of treatment. So consider Alzheimer's, consider dementia, consider the extraordinary costs and monies that we have to spend to support some of our members who in their later years are suffering from this tragic illness. And there's a growing realization that if we can run some simple tests to identify these conditions earlier, we can reduce the cost by $2,000 in the first year and more significant savings in years to come. Your role as a trustee is to challenge the assumptions and challenge the ideas and challenge the attitudes that are in place in terms of what you do as we transition into this world. There's a global medical and insurance philosophy that is emerging that is oriented around this entire concept of not just fixing you after you're sick, but understanding what it is you have, what it is you're likely to develop, and changing what we do as a result of that. This is the type of thing that you can begin asking some questions around.